All right, so we now have the official sequel to Code Geass. Now, I want to mention a few disclaimers before we even get started with this. Um, I'm concerned because I'm not sure which continuity this follows. I'm assuming that it follows the whole um movie continuity because that's the more recent. But when you check here, even on Disney, there is they don't even have season 2 on here, which is weird. Like, I have no option to change this at all unless I have to physically type in, I don't know. Another thing is they don't have the movies available. They have Resurrection of Lelouch on Crunchyroll specifically, right? Um, so I'm assuming that they're going by just the anime original release. Another concern I have is I'm watching this in English because it makes more sense to me when it comes down to Britannia controlling Japan or Area 11. It doesn't make sense for them to conform and respect the culture and have them speak Japanese. No, they'll just make the Japanese speak their own language or a unified language. And even though we are in this new era of peace, it's still Neo Britannia, which means it just makes more sense for it to be one unified language, is what I'm saying. It's like watching Black Lagoon and it's in the original Japanese dub. Nobody watches Black Lagoon for the Japanese dub. It's the same thing with watching Black Butler. It only makes sense hearing those British like accent. I mean, I was about to say British language. It's English either way. Another reason why I'm playing this in English dub is because I cannot, for whatever reason, watch this on here. I'm going to try this again. If it doesn't work, then because it keeps crashing. Yep. So that's why we have the Disney Plus. And again, another reason why I'm watching this in dub is because Disney Plus only has the dub available. So this worked fine. Even though it's a Hulu original, you can't watch it on Hulu. I've tried it for both the English and the Japanese. You just can't watch it on Hulu, but it works perfectly fine on Disney Plus for whatever reason. So I'm not sure why this is even branded as a Hulu original. But yeah, whatever. We are just gonna get started. Hopefully the VA work is as good as Johnny Young Bosch. That looks like CGI, but it looks fairly decent.
States of Japan.
United States of Japan?
Attack on the Hokkaido block, swiftly seizing control. There
They got their own version of
and so
Char.
To keep Britannia at bay now serves to protect our Neo-Britannian Empire, crushing the Black Knight's invasion plan.
Okay, so
Definitively.
okay.
Livestock trapped in the ultimate cage. There's no hope for any of you.
Damn. Pointless exposition.
About things.
Alright, so I already don't know how to feel about this because it was just pointless slaughter.
Sure, you and I can come to an understanding. Why don't we step inside and talk this out?
You can rest inside. After all, you Japanese are a national treasure to us.
Thank you.
Well, please allow me to pay restitution for how I've treated you.
So does he have...
Of course.
Don't tell me they're rehashing the same power Lelouch has.
Come one, come all.
Oh.
Members of the Kirk Wayne Security Force, welcome to our humble show. We're gonna crush you.
Oh. Is that like Lancelot? See, I'm so used to nightmare frames flying, so seeing them on the ground is throwing me off just a little bit. Oh.
It was nap time, and they all fell asleep right on the spot.
Ooh.
Copy that.
What's this? Oh! Oh, okay. I was concerned about the CGI, I'll be honest. Yeah, the CGI is not bad at all. Well, he got to. Oh, what, did he escape? No, he didn't. There's no way. Mm. Mm.
This is my resolve.
Ooh.
You even relocated with us to Hokkaido.
That threw me off.
You and your brother had for the Japanese that you have killed, and you live. If you refuse, you die.
Wait. So her voice, as opposed to.
100 times? All I have to do is pull this
Okay. The Acolyte could never do this. Bro. At first I was like, are they rehashing? And this rehash doesn't seem as good as them rehashing in the beginning of season 2 when Lelouch gets his memories back, because that was a good rehash of like the first episode from season 1. I felt like they were kind of doing that with this episode, but bro. So with the Geass power, and it makes sense for her to have a voice modulator. So that really threw me off. Now that is how you do an actual interesting female character. The Acolyte could never. And then when it comes down to even the CGI is not that bad here. It's not. I was really worried because, like, I'm assuming that this is still a part of the same team that worked on the original anime, right? And with that being said, they had to come from Sunrise. The Witch from Mercury barely had any CGI from what I can remember. So the fact that this has CGI is like kind of, ooh, I don't know about that. Even like the last movie, I don't even think the last movie had much CGI in it at all, actually. But I'm guessing the proceeds of the movie were able to make passable CGI. Plus, it's been so long since we've even had any sort of continuation with Code Geass. So, this is interesting too, because it also changes how the power works, where instead of using eyes, which it's always been that way, like eyes and like the symbolism behind that, you know. But the fact that she's using her voice and having people hear her, and they're still able to, like, it's just like the what was that episode from Frieren, where she made the demon, like, you know, that self-deletion tactic. It's just like that. I was pleasantly surprised by this, actually. I was like, all right, cool. We have the flamboyant kid, the guy, but it turns out no, this is actually a girl who's wearing equipment, highly sophisticated equipment, to hide her identity. And because this is 7 years after the events of season 2 of Code Geass, and because they haven't mentioned the movie, at least not yet, I'm thinking this is just a continuation of the anime series as opposed to the compilation movies. And if that is the case, if I'm not mistaken, Code Geass took place in 2017 in their time. So this would have to actually take place in 2024 for, again, their time, because of course they have this highly advanced technology, and who knows how much technology can actually progress now that we know they're in like this whole, basically surrounded in this whole sort of, I don't know what you would call it. I don't want to say it's like a pig pen or anything like that, but I'm invested. I'm actually invested. See, this right here, this is how you sell me on a female character. I'm not saying they have to act like guys until the climactic reveal. That's not what I'm saying. It's just it gave like in the very beginning, it shows you two people running away, right? You have these two girls running away, you know, harping on this whole idea of like, all right, they're close, but because of that whole situation, they end up being separated, right? I can't find the actual scene where they let go of their hands, but you know, whatever, right? So they're separated, and you would think that this scene is pointless until they harp back on it and reveal that, oh no, this is actually the same girl. This is the girl all grown up. This is apparently her friend and not her twin sister, which I'm guessing is, I don't know what kind of relationship they're going to have, but you know. But yeah, and like when it comes down to the Acolyte, they try to do this bait and switch with you with the twins at the very beginning. It ends up not being the case at all. And then when you get to later episodes, it just feels like they already forgot what they wrote previously, or everything was written out of order. Like they wrote their individual story, and just based off of memory, they decided to write the script and dialogue for that episode, as opposed to making it a one big cohesive story. Like I did a reaction to episode 4 of The Acolyte. It didn't make sense to me that they were talking about, love. Oh, you love your sister. She's family. Her sister's willing to leave everything, and so on and so forth, one another. So you can't sell me on this familial type of bond, like, oh, family's important and so on and so forth, if you've already showcased an episode where clearly they were in a toxic type of family relationship. Like, it doesn't make sense unless they do another flashback, but you could have sold us on them being loving sisters the episode prior, before you start going down a rabbit hole on like, oh no, she's still family, love, and all that, etc., etc. For this, they show us in the very beginning there's two girls, presumably girls, who are running away from something. They get separated, and now we have the girl coming back with a whole different persona, unrecognizable, believes to be like brothers, right? And she's pretending to be Britannia, but in reality she's actually Japanese, and now she's seeking to rescue that person who is locked up falsely. I'm wondering who this person actually is. I've seen comparisons with like, oh, this is like the relationship with Suzaku and Lelouch that people always wanted, or something along those lines. But it turns out that that's really not the case at all. Like, this genuinely threw me through a loop. There was nothing, there was absolutely nothing that made me guess that this was the same girl in the very beginning. Like now you understand the motivations there. You have, at least you have an idea of what the motivations are. Yeah, of course you still don't know the full details of them being separated, but in this episode they gave you enough to infer exactly what she is trying to do. And with that being said, when you compare it to something like The Acolyte, which costs 180 million, which creates new plot holes in its own story, very apprehensive. The writing in this whole reveal at the end sold me. It genuinely sold me, actually. The Acolyte wishes it can be as good as anime, but yeah, I'm genuinely excited for the next episode now. But yeah, I'm not sure why Hulu has that weird issue. Is it not a Hulu original? Is it a Disney Plus original, but they don't want to promote it as that? I'm not sure. But yeah, if you have like the Disney Plus bundle, I do highly suggest giving this a watch. Because apparently it's not working on Hulu right now for whatever reason. But yeah, I enjoy it. And yeah, that's pretty much it.